Hi, aspirants of English literature. Let's learn for UGC NET English. Let's learn Pyqs for UGC NET English. This video is only for revision. Let's learn Pyqs of June 2023 English exam. Let's learn quickly. Which of the following explains the difference between conceptual research and empirical research? Option A is the correct answer. The former of the two is related to some abstract idea or theory and later relies on experience and observation alone. Next question is, which among the following was not recognized as a major dialogue of Plato? Was not recognized. It is to note down not recognized. Option D, metaphysics is the correct answer. Next question is, which of the following is the first novel of Peril Prainbridge? Peril Prainbridge's first novel is, option B is the correct answer, A Weekend with Glody. Next question is, who among the following has written Lear, a play, an adaptation of Shakespeare's King Lear? Edward Bond is the correct answer. Option A. Match list 1 with list 2. List 1, list 2. Pradap Sharma, Asif Karimboy, Kurucharan Das, Nizam Sekiel. What will be the answer? Pradap Sharma, A Touch of Brightness. Asif Karimboy, The Hungry Ones. Kurucharan Das, Meera. Nizam Sekiel, Sleepwalkers. Next question is, the following lines are from one of the poems of T.H. Lawrence. Identify the poem. And so I missed my chance with one of the lords of life, and I have something to expiate. A pettiness. Option B is the correct answer. It is from Snake. It is from the poem Snake. Next question is, who among the following was famous as a diarist? Who among the following was famous as a diarist? Option A is the correct answer. John Evelyn was famous as a diarist. Next question is, Penguin books were prosecuted for obscenity and later acquitted for publishing a novel of T.H. Lawrence, and makes a frank description of sex and an uncompromising use of four-letter words. Which of the following is the title of the novel? What is the correct answer? Option C is the correct answer. C is Lady Chatterley's Lover Only, prosecuted for obscenity. Option C is the correct answer. Next question is, which poetry anthologies have not been written by Billy Blargin? Have not been written by Billy Blargin. Option D is the correct answer. D and E. Not been written by Billy Blargin. D and E is Death of a Naturalist and Responsibilities. Both are wrong, right? Next question is, match list 1 with list 2. List 1, list 2. Christopher Hill, Catherine Belsey, E.M.W. Tilliard, Thomas N. Cons. Option A is the correct answer. First, Christopher Hill, Milton and the English Revolution. Next, Catherine Belsey, John Milton, Language, Gender, Power. Next, E.M.W. Tilliard, only Milton. Thomas N. Cons, Milton's Language. Next question is, match list 1 with list 2. Peter Middleton, Patricia Wow, David Kennedy, Edward Larissy. Choose the correct answer from the options given below. Correct answer has been given here. Peter Middleton, Distant Reading, Performance, Readership and Consumption in Contemporary Poetry. Patricia Wow, The Harvest of the 60s English Literature and Its Background, 1960 to 1990. David Kennedy, New Relations, The Refashioning of British Poetry, 1980 to 1994. Edward Larissy, Reading 20th Century Poetry, The Language of Gender and Objects. Next question is, which of these did Macaulay's 1835 Minutes on Indian Education want to create? What is the correct answer? Option B is the correct answer. Option B is A Class of People Indian by Blood, but English by Taste is the correct answer. Next question is, which of these are plays written by Bertolt Brecht? Option C is the correct answer. Which of these are plays written by Bertolt Brecht? Option C, A, B, E. A, B, E, the Caucasian chalk circle, and Galileo, and Man Equals Man. These are plays written by Bertolt Brecht. Next question is, name the playwright who has written Kalati. Option D is correct answer, John Lilly. Which of the following are true in the context of Jonathan Swift? In the context of Jonathan Swift, option D is the correct answer. A and C. A and C are correct. He was born in Dublin and studied at Kilkenny Grammar School and Trinity College, Dublin. C. He was ordained in the Church of Ireland in 1695. It's about Jonathan Swift. Next question is, who is the writer of The Flies, an adaptation of the Electra myth? Option A is the correct answer, Jean-Paul Sartre. Next question is, who among the following acknowledged that poetry is formed from the same elements as prose? The difference lies in the different combination of these elements and the difference of purpose. Option B is the correct answer, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. See the keywords. Who among the following acknowledged that poetry is formed from the same elements as prose? The difference lies in the different combination of these elements and the difference of purpose. Option B is the correct answer, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Next question is, from which poem are the following lines extracted? Those lines are, some are bewildered in the maze of schools, and some made coxcombs, nature meant but fools, in search of which these lose their common sense and then turn critics in their own defense. What is the answer? Answer C is the correct answer. An essay on criticism, bewildered in the maze of schools, and some made coxcombs, nature meant but fools. An essay on criticism is the correct answer. Next question is, which of the following books were published in the year 1791? 1791 publication? B. B and E. James Boswell's The Life of Samuel Johnson. Next, Paine's The Rights of Man. Which two plays of Anton Chekhov made creative use of Shakespeare's Hamlet? Option D is the correct answer, B and E. Three Sisters and The Seagull. Next question is, who among the following translated Aristotle's Poetics in Latin? Giorgio Balla is the correct answer. Next question is, which poems have not been composed by Adrian Rich? Have not been composed. Option D is the correct answer. D and E. The Applicant and Ripples on the Surface are the correct answer. Next, which of the following novels are written by Wilkie Collins? Option C, A and C. Basil, The Woman in the White. Which of the following novels are written by Wilkie Collins? Or written by? Option C, A and C. Basil, The Woman in White. In a novel of Charles Dickens, a high-spirited boy of 19 is left penniless along with his mother and sister Kate on the death of his father. Which of the following is the novel? Option C is the correct answer, Nicholas Nickleby. Next question is, who composed Lucasta, Passion Poems, published posthumously? Option C, Richard Lovelace. Richard Lovelace. Next question is, match list 1 with list 2. List 1, list 2. Charles Lamb, William Hazlitt, Walter Savage Landor, Thomas Love, Peacock. Option C is the correct answer. C is true. First, Charles Lamb, specimens of English dramatic poets who lived about the time of Shakespeare. Next, William Hazlitt, characters of Shakespeare's plays. Next, Walter Savage Landor, imaginary conversations, right? Thomas Love, Peacock. Krill Cranch. Next question is, who among the following as the proprietor of the Rose Theatre repaired it in 1592 and in 1595 and spent substantial sums on renovating and expanding his theatre? Option B, Philip Hensoldt. Philip Hensoldt. Next question is, arrange the chronological sequence in which the following works were published. Choose the correct answer from the following options. Option B is the correct answer. Option B is A. First Jane Eyre. Next, The New Comes. Next, A Tale of Two Cities. Next, Middlemarch. Finally, The Return of the Native. Here see, Jane Eyre 1847 by Charlotte Bronte. The New Comes 1855 William Makepeace Thackeray. A Tale of Two Cities 1859 Charles Dickens. Middlemarch 1875 George Eliot. The Return of the Native 1878 Thomas Hardy. Hence, the correct answer is option B. Arrange the following writers chronologically in accordance their years of birth. Years of birth. Here, chronological order. Option A is the correct answer. First C. Samuel Johnson. Second D. Edmund Burke. Third B. Edward Gibbon. Fourth A. James Boswell. Fifth E. Richard Brinsley Sheridan. Right? Samuel Johnson 1709. UK 1784. Right? Edmund Burke 1729 to 1797, Edward Gibbon 1737 to 1794, James Boswell 1740 to 1795, Richard Brinsley Butler Sheridan, full name of Sheridan, Richard Brinsley Butler Sheridan 1751 to 1816. Next question is, who among the following had observed in the pamphlet titled Plays Confuted in 5 Actions 1582? I may boldly say it because I have seen it that bawdy comedies in Latin, French, Italian, and Spanish have been thoroughly ransacked to furnish the plague houses in London. Option C, Stephen Cousin, is the correct answer. Next question is given below are two statements. Statement 1. Aldous' theory of interpolation implies the act of hailing like hey, you, and thereby turning individuals into ideological consenting subjects. Statement 2. Aldous' theory of interpolation is very much similar to the concept of Derrida's theory of deconstruction. In the light of the above statements, choose the correct answer from the options given below. C is the correct answer. C is statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. Statement 2 is false. Read it carefully. Who does Archetypal represent in John Dryden's allegorical poem Absalom and Archetypal? Option A, first Earl of Shaftesbury, right? Next question is, who composed the poem addressed to a steam vessel? Jonah Bailey. Next question is, according to Stuart Hall, which of these is generally accepted to be true of cultural studies as it was practiced at the University of Birmingham in the UK? Option B is the correct answer. B is C and D. It could accommodate the study of the lives of working class people. It sought to promote readings based on social and political context, or correct answers. Next, which of the following poems are written by the American poet Robert Lowell? Choose the correct answer from the options given below. Option B is the correct answer. B and D. Here, which of the following poems are written by the American poet Robert Lowell? B and D. Skunk Hour and Night Sweat, right? Next, arrange the following works in the chronological order of their publication. Choose the correct answer from the options given below. Option C. First, Marriage Poem. Second, Goa. Next, The Tum Dancer. Tara, Mr. Bagram. Marriage Poem 1959. God, The Tum Dancer 1992. Tara 1995. Mr. Bagram 1998. Who among the following displays an influence of the Yakshagana folk tradition in his plays? Option B, Krish Karnad. Next question is, who enunciated the idea of myth as depolitized speech in Burgess society? Option D is the correct answer. Roland Barthes. Next, identify the two previous titles of the poem Out of the Cradle Endlessly Rocking, as Walt Whitman continued to revise it until it reached the present form in the C-tripped section of the 1881 edition. Option A, C and E. A Child's Reminiscence, The Wound Dresser. C and E. A word of the sea. Next question is match list 1 with list 2. List 1, list 2. Culture and environment. In other words, essays in cultural politics, the cultural tan. Selected writings on the postmodern 1983 to 1998. The uses of literacy. Here, what is the answer? Culture and Environment, F. R. Lewis and D. Thompson. In other words, essays in cultural politics, Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. The cultural tan. Selected writings on the postmodern 1983 to 1998, Frederick Jameson. The uses of literacy, Richard Kohut. Next question is arrange the publication of the following books in chronological order. Option D. C. Black Literature and Literary Theory. E. Reconstructing Womanhood, the emergence of the Afro-American woman novelist. Next D. The Signifying Monkey, a theory of Afro-American literary criticism. Next A. The Location of Culture. Last B. The Future of the Race. Next question is who along with Richard Hogarth and Stuart Hall was one of the founding figures of the school of thought now known as British Cultural Studies? Option A is the correct answer. A is Raymond Williams. Next question is who among the following are the writers of secular prose in the 14th century? A and C. Secular prose in the 14th century. John of Divisha and John Mandeville. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion A and the other is labeled as reason R. Assertion A, post-structuralism is unthinkable without structuralism. Reason R, post-structuralism continues structuralism's strongly humanist perspective and it closely follows structuralism in its belief that language is not the key to our understanding of ourselves and the world. In light of the above statements, choose the most appropriate answer in the options given below. Option C is the correct answer. C is A is correct but R is incorrect. Next question is arrange the following in accordance with their dates of first publication. Option A is the correct answer. First C. T.S. Eliot notes towards the definition of culture. Next E. Iron What, the rise of the novel. Next D. Raymond Williams keywords. Next A. Edward said Orientalism, Western conceptions of the Orient. Next B. Frederick Jameson, the political unconscious narrative as a socially symbolic act. Next question is arrange the chronological sequence in which the following works T.S. Eliot were first published. Chronological order. Option C is the correct answer. C is A. First A. The Sacred Wood. Next, the Metaphysical Poets. Next, the Function of Criticism. Next, the Use of Poetry and the Use of Criticism. Next, Notes towards the Definition of Culture. Next question is who was the author of Novum Organum? Francis Bacon is the correct answer. Arrange the following chronologically in accordance with their date of birth. Option D. First Molière. Next Goethe, Oscar Wilde, Eugene O'Neill, finally Bertolt Brecht. Molière, Goethe, Oscar Wilde, Eugene O'Neill, Bertolt Brecht. Match list 1 with list 2. Deconstruction, hegemony, habitus, interpolation. Deconstruction, Jacques Derrida. Hegemony, Antonio Gramsci. Habitus, Pierre Bourdieu. Interpolation, Louis Althusser. According to Andrew Milner in Reimagining Cultural Studies, of the four important kinds of meanings that Raymond Williams attaches to the word culture in his early work, which three remain in play in keywords. Option B, B, C, D. The state of the intellectual development of a whole society, the arts as a whole, next the way of life of a group or people, right? Next question, find the chronological order of Thomas Hardy's poetry publications. Let's continue the remaining things in the next video. யாரெல்லாம் சிம்பிளாக இங்கிலீஷ் படிக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களோ அவங்க இந்த சேனலை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள். லைக், ஷேர் அண்ட் சப்ஸ்கிரைப். தேங்க்யூ.